And welcome back to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Panicked and desperate, Gavin Newsom is bringing in the big guns to help him avoid recall. President Biden is going to be joining Newsom on Monday. Not like he's got anything else to worry about, I guess. Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris rallied for Gavin Newsom. With those two powerhouses, you can expect a raucous crowd of at least 14 people. And in the meantime, Newsom has remained silent on yesterday's vile attack on the Republican frontrunner candidate Larry Elder. We showed you this. No big deal. Just a black man being attacked by a mob, including a white woman wearing a gorilla mask. Yeah, nothing to see here if you ask the media. Can you imagine? These people are wild. Look at this. Just unbelievable. And Larry Elder joins us now to talk about what exactly happened. And, sir, thank you so much for the time. Good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
So just give us the story here, exactly what went down.
Well, kind of hard to say. All I know is that this was the intersection of homelessness and rise of crime. I was in an area of a homeless encampment in an area outside of L.A. called Venice. And under this governor, 20,000 convicted felons have been released early. And based upon data in the past, a majority of them are likely to reoffend. Maybe the young lady who threw the egg was one of the 20,000 who was released early. I really don't know. But there was a lot of anger there. And there's a lot of anger from the homeowners, from the families, from the children, from the schools, and from the homeless people who feel that this problem has been allowed to fester under Gavin Newsom, and he doesn't seem to have a plan on what to do to solve it.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, I would honestly say that if you live in the Venice Beach area of Los Angeles and you vote to keep Gavin Newsom in power, you have got to be absolutely brain dead. What has happened to that neighborhood, a neighborhood I used to love when I lived in California, is just been so pitiful. And this, what happened to you, I mean, nobody, most of the media, the outrage media, they don't seem to care much. But now let's imagine that, this is a black liberal being attacked by white conservative racists with an egg thrown. How do you think this story changes?
Well, Rob, I think you know how the story would play. They'd be talking about it in Bangladesh. But, I've never gone there. I've never suggested that people should vote for me because I'm black or vote against me because I'm black. And I don't want to be the first black anything. I want to be the first good governor named Larry Elder. But I will tell you, there's a double standard. Obviously, there was an article all about me a few days ago in the New York Times. It was a negative article, and it never once mentioned my race. Never once mentioned that if I become the governor of California, I'll be the first black governor. Again, I'm not saying a big deal should be made out of all of that. But on the very same page, just across the way from my column, there was a big column about, quote, the first female governor of New York, close quote, even though this female governor only became governor because Cuomo stepped down. But so that was a big deal for the New York Times that she was the first female governor. But the first black governor, if he's got an R at the end of his name, is not a big deal by the New York Times. I'm just talking about the hypocrisy here.
No, there's plenty of it. And apparently you're not only a black man, but you're also a white supremacist. I've learned that about you in the last couple of weeks.
Well, come on, Rob, let's be fair. The exact quote is on the black face of white supremacy. That was done by a writer in the LA Times. Yep. That feels that because I'm a black person, does not believe that racism is a major problem in America, who's trying to focus things on things like rising crime, by the way, disproportionately affect black and brown people living in the inner city, the decline in public schools, which disproportionately affect black and brown people living in the inner city, the rise in the cost of living, the fact that California, for the first time, Rob, hit $800,000 for the average price of a home, which disproportionately affects working class and middle-class people, many of whom are black and brown. That makes me, quote, the black face of white supremacy. It's nuts. It shows you they're out of ammo. They've got nothing. No defense of Gavin Newsom. All these people from outside are coming in, people like Barack Obama and Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris. All these people have weighed in, and not a single person has uttered the following magic words. Gavin Newsom has done a good job for the people of California. Not a single one of these surrogates trying to keep his job have uttered those words.
They can't. They can't do it because everybody can see with their own eyes what California is. I mean, it's really unbelievable. I want to just ask real quick. We just saw in L.A. County that they want to mandate kids over 12 get the vaccine. The president said tonight that if governors aren't going to back his plans, if governors are going to go around what he says and try to get rid of mask mandates and vaccine mandates, that he's going to shut them down. If you win, what are you going to do with Biden?
Well, when I win, one of the first things I'm going to do is repeal that mandate that Governor Gavin Newsom has imposed for state workers. If you're a state worker and you've not been vaccinated, you are mandated to be tested once a week, and to wear a face mask at work. Now think about it. I've been vaccinated. I'm not anti-vax, contrary to what the ads say.
Sure,
because of my age, I've got an underlying comorbidity. My doctor strongly advised me to get vaccinated. But everybody in California who wants to be vaccinated pretty much has been able to be vaccinated. Poor people can be vaccinated for free. So a lot of people have made very different decisions. So to the extent that that mandate for state workers to be vaccinated, to be tested, and if not vaccinated, to wear a face mask at work, I'm going to repeal them. And regarding the other cities and counties and school districts, I won't have much control over them, but people are filing lawsuits all over the country, and ultimately this is going to be decided in the United States Supreme Court. And it's my opinion that the people that don't believe that the government has the power to force people to be vaccinated and to force people to wear face masks, they're going to be vindicated. I believe the Supreme Court is going to uphold freedom.
All right. Well, it all comes to a head, the big recall election next week. Larry Elder, sir, thank you so much for taking the time. Always good to talk to you.
My pleasure. Go to recall, go to electelder.com, throw something in the tip jar, because my opponent can raise $75 million, has so far. He'll probably raise a little bit more than that. So let's make it a fair fight. Go to electelder.com.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.